Alright, I'm going to go over all the problems in our Chapter 2 study guide here. So number 1, describe the solutions of 6 plus y is less than 10 in words. So the solutions to y, first you want to solve for y to know what the solutions are. So this positive 6, we're going to subtract 6 on both sides. So y is less than 4. Alright, so in words, you have to get full credit on this on your test, you actually have to write in words that y is all real numbers. It's kind of a technicality because there's such thing as imaginary numbers, but if you just want to say all numbers, I won't count it wrong. Is all numbers less than 4? That's what it means in words. Okay, and then we have to graph this inequality for number 2. So it's just graphing. Make your number line. I'll put the number right in the middle. And give me a number that's smaller. Remember, smaller negative numbers actually increase as they're getting smaller. And so a bigger would be negative 3.3. It doesn't have to be those. You can choose whatever you want. Circle the number. I don't fill it in unless then goes to the left. Okay, and then we're going to graph this inequality. So negative 1.2. Give me a number smaller. You can just jump to negative 2 if you want, and a number bigger. How about negative 1? And greater than goes to the right, has a line underneath, so I fill it in. Okay, in 4 and 5, it gives you the graph, and you have to write the inequality. So here we have negative 3, so choose any letter you want, so usually x. I see the arrows going to the right, so x is greater than negative 3. It's filled in, so it can equal negative 3. And then on 5, it's right in between negative 2 and negative 3. It looks like it's right in the middle, so I'm going to say that's probably negative 2.5. That's right in the middle of 2 and 3. And the arrow's going to the left, so x is less than that. The dot's filled in, so we put the little line underneath. Okay, then we have some story problems to go through. To join the school swim team, swimmers must be able to swim at least 500 yards without stopping. So it says let n represent. So I know at least 500 means it has to be greater than 500. And at least, can it include 500? Well, yeah, that means it can be 500 is the minimum. So it's got to be greater than or equal to 500. So n represents the number of yards a swimmer can swim without yet stopping. So we got to use n here. Write the inequality. I did that. Graph the solution. So then next we graph that. So 500. Give me a number bigger and a number smaller. I circle the 500. It can equal 500. Greater than goes to the right. Okay, on number 7, we are just solving the inequality. So find your variable n plus 6. So to get rid of the plus 6, we subtract 6 on both sides. And negative 1.5 minus 6 is negative 7.5. Careful with that. We go more negative. When you have a negative number and you subtract, you go more negative. And then it says to graph that one as well. So make sure to read if it wants you to graph it or not. Most of them do, but not all of them do, so just be careful with that. Okay, one number bigger, one number smaller. I circle it. I don't fill it in. Less than goes to the left. Alright, number 8. Carlotta, I don't know, subscribes to the Hot Burn music service. She can download no more than 11 songs. So that means it has to be less than 11, or it can equal 11. No more means you can do 11, but not more than that. She has already downloaded 8 song files this week. Write, solve, and graph inequality show how many more she can download. So you can choose X for how many songs she can download, and she's already done 8. So 8 plus how many is less than or equal to 11. Now I know you can do this in your head, but on the test you have to do that where it says write it. There, I wrote it. Then you have to solve it by subtracting 8 on both sides to get 3. So I solved it. And then you graph to show how many more she can download. So she can download 3 or less, and it will still fit. So make my number line. And it spaced that out very well. So 3 or less. So I circle the 3, fill it in, and less than that she can download. Okay, number 9. Denise has $365 in her savings account. She wants to save at least $635. So at least, that means you want more or equal to, greater than or equal to 365. So at least the minimum is 635. I'm just used to days a year, I guess, sorry. 635, I keep saying that wrong, is the minimum. And then she can do more than that, because, hey, saving more money is great. So she already has 365. So plus how much more? I'm going to read the problem. If it wants me to do a certain variable, which it does, let D represent the amount of money she must save to reach her goal. So she has 365 in her account. She needs to save how much more to get at least 635. Okay, I think I finally got that right. So subtract 365 from both sides to solve it. And D is greater than or equal to 270. Let's see. Represent, she must save. Okay, I don't see this one. Doesn't say to graph it, so it just says write inequality right here and solve it. So those are the 2 points I'm looking for on number 9. Okay, now we're just solving and graphing these next few problems. X divided by 8, opposite of dividing is to multiply by 8 on both sides so that these cancel out. So I get X is greater than 24, and then we graph that. 24 in the middle, a number bigger, and a number smaller. I circle the 24, I keep it open, greater than goes to the right, see how it points to the right. Okay, 11 is 2m less than or equal to 18. So we solve this and divide by 2 on both sides. So m is less than or equal to 9. And then I graph that. Number bigger, number smaller. Circle my 9, this time I fill it in because there's that line underneath. Less than goes to the left because it points to the left. So 5x is greater than or equal to 10. So to solve this, 5 times x, opposite of multiply is to divide by 5. And you have to do it to both sides of this inequality here. These cancel. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then we have to graph this one as well. So a number bigger and a number smaller. Alright. I circle my 2. I fill it in because there's a line underneath. X can equal to or it's greater than. So it goes to the right. This time z is divided by -4. So I multiply by -4 on both sides. And I just multiplied by a negative when I'm solving. So we stop. Flip that sign. Okay, flip the sign. These cancel. I have z. 2 times -4 is -8. And then graph that. -8. Watch out with your negatives. -9 is smaller. -7 goes on that side. So don't do that backwards. Circle our -8. Fill it in. Greater than goes to the right. Okay, solve and graph here. 2 times f. Opposite of multiply is divide by 2. On both sides here. Those cancel. And -8 divided by 2 is -4. So I'd solve for. We graph it. -4 in the middle. The number smaller is -5. The number bigger is -3. Circle the -4. Line underneath, so I fill it in. Greater than goes to the right, so I go to the right. Okay, 15 is story problem. Marco's drama class is performing a play. He wants to buy as many tickets as he can afford. The tickets cost $2.50 each, and he has $14.75 to spend. So if he only has $14.75 to spend, that means he can spend less than or equal to that. He can't spend more than that because he doesn't have enough money. That's all he has. So the cost of tickets need to be less than or equal to $14.75. Now they cost $2.50 a piece, so that means you're going to take $2.50 times the number of tickets you buy, which it doesn't tell me which letter to use, so I'm going to use X. So $2.50 times how many tickets you buy has to be less than or equal to $14.75. Alright, so let's solve this. See how many you can buy. Divide by $2.50 on both sides. These cancel. And then use your calculator and divide those, and you're going to get 5.9. So he can buy 5.9 tickets or less. Now, can you really buy 5.9 tickets? No. In real life, you can't. So how many tickets can he buy? Don't round up to 6, because that would cost more than how much money he has. So he can only afford 5 tickets. And story problems, there's units, use the units if you can. Alright, this one's a little tricky. So negative n minus 4, so we're going to add 4 first to both sides of our inequality to get rid of that minus 4. So we still have this negative n though. That's why it makes it tricky. It is less than 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, to get rid of that negative n. Now that's really the same as negative 1 times n. Remember there's always a 1 in front of our variable that we don't write? So negative 1 times n, to get rid of that, you actually divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1 both sides. And I just divided by negative, so we stop, flip that sign. Divide by negative, flip the sign. So now n is greater than 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7. When I read the problem, it says to graph it, so let's graph this. Negative 7, negative 8, negative 6. I circle my negative 7, don't fill it in. Greater than goes to the right. Okay, we're starting to get to a little bit more complicated inequalities. So here, we actually have like terms on the same side of our inequality. So z plus 3z, we can go ahead and add those together. Remember there's a 1 in front. You get 1 plus 3 is 4z. Add those together. And then plus 8, less than or equal to negative 4. Okay, now when we solve, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides, because we always subtract, add or subtract before you multiply or divide when solving. So these cancel. We're left with 4z is less than, and negative 4 minus another negative 8 is going to bring me to negative 12. Because negative, when we subtract, you go more negative. So now 4z is less than or equal to negative 12. So 4 times z, under that, divide by 4 on both sides. So z is less than or equal to negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. Let's see, 17 says to graph. Negative 3. A lot of negatives, so make sure you don't get your number lines backwards or you're going to miss a half point on a lot of problems. So be very careful with that. Fill it in with the line underneath. Less than goes to the left. Okay, here's the one to solve. We put the line through just to keep us organized. So I have a variable on both sides. Let's get it to the left, because remember with inequalities, we always want it on the left side. So it's a positive 3x, so we're going to subtract 3x to move it over. Minus 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 6 minus 3 is 3. So I have 3x is less than 15. And then divide by 3 to undo the multiplication. So x is less than 15 divided by 3 is 5. And on 18, it does say graph it. There's 5, something smaller, something bigger. I almost put 6 over there because I did so many negatives. Okay, circle the 5, less than goes to the left. Okay, solving graph number 19 here. So here's my inequality, so I have variables on both sides again. So let's move this one over. There's really a 1 here, so we're going to subtract 1x from both sides of the inequality. So these cancel. 3 minus 1 is 2x. I'm left with 14 on this side. And to solve, to undo 2 times x, you divide by 2 on both sides. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. And then we graph that. 7 in the middle, the number smaller, the number bigger. Circle it. I don't fill it in. Less than goes to the left. Okay, now we have our compound inequalities, so our x is in the middle. So we got to solve for x. So look at this. 3 times x minus 2, so you got to get rid of the subtraction by adding 2. And you do that to both sides of our inequality. You have to add 2 on the right and add 2 on the left. So 1 plus 2 is 3. These 2's cancel out in the middle. And 10 plus 2 is 12. So remember, I have everything lined up. My symbols follow down here and here, that's all lined up. So keep everything organized vertically in like these columns here. So now 3 times x, then do that, we divide by 3. We do that on the left and the right. So your answer goes straight down. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Our inequality goes straight down. These cancel. This goes straight down. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. So those all are organized in the columns going straight down. Let's see, does it say to graph? Yes, graph this. Okay, so on the number line, you have our 1,